Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Strength Perfect Cell and how good he is, or Cell Perfect Form, final battle at the highest level. Now, Strength Cell is pretty good. He is a tournament participants or worldwide chaos category, key plus 3 HP, 200% attack and defense of 170%, and an additional HP attack and defense of 50% for characters who belong to androids or accelerated battle. Now I'm going to be honest here, there's a weird gap in his leader skill, and that he doesn't actually cover that many androids outside of Cell. There's just not a lot of androids except for maybe Future 17 and 18 who are on worldwide chaos. So he immediately kind of doesn't really cover those units, which is a little bit strange, but it is a shame that he's not really covering like the 17, 18s, and 16s from the beginning of the Android Cell saga. Now, in terms of super attack effect, he greatly raises attack and defense 1 turn, which is great. In terms of his passive, he has a high chance of crit, launches an additional super attack, and creates the Cell Games Domain for 5 turns. Cell Games Domain gives tournament participants, category enemies, and allies 15% extra, and androids or Android Cell Saga category enemies and allies 15% extra as well. Defense and attacks are pretty cool. His active skill can be activated when HP is 70% or less, or starting from the 4th turn, and gives him key plus 2 attack and defense of 35%. Like I said, he has 2 key attack and defense of 200%, damage reduction 20%, and additional attack. There's a great chance of becoming a super. So all pretty good. He's got 2 additional supers potentially built in as well. When there is a tournament participants category enemy, his attack and defense goes up by 50%. This is a little bit of a shame. We'll talk about how it works. When attacking a 12 or more key, he gets attack of 150%, and for every attack performed, defense up of 30% up to 150%. When he is KO'd, he will revive with HP fully. After his or an ally's revival skill is activated, his damage reduction rate goes up by 30% temporarily when receiving an attack. So he has 50% damage reduction when receiving an attack, which is pretty good. After his revival skill is active, so if it's his revival skill, specifically the units, so it doesn't just mean strength cells, it means his specifically, damage reduction of 15% up and guards all attacks. Now, the big thing with Cell, in general, okay, is firstly, he's pretty good. I will say that as a unit, I think he is really quite solid. I think there's a couple of things I don't like necessarily, but I think overall he's a good, solid, all-rounder unit. He's pretty tanky, he does pretty good defense, and he has a pretty okay leader skill. But he doesn't necessarily he's not the outright best tank in the game, he's not the outright best damage dealer in the game. He's somewhere in between on all of these things, and that's okay. I think that's more than fine. The problem with that is it doesn't necessarily help the team a lot. Now, I will say, if his revive is activated, he can have like 1.3 million defense, guard, and on top of all of that, he can have, I believe it's 65% damage reduction. So, against supers specifically, that's really good. Like, he is not going to take damage from a lot of bosses. There are very few bosses that are going to deal damage to him. There are bosses at like the end of the festival battles or whatever that will deal damage to him, but I mean, he's not designed for that event. In all other content, he's going to tank great. So after his revive, he's going to tank great. After a friend's revive or an ally's revive, he will tank alright. He'll tank normals more than fine, of course. He will struggle against some AGL supers, but generally speaking, he'll still be okay. He still has 50% damage reduction against supers. He'll still have 1.3 million defense. All these things will still be consistent with him. So it's not like he goes from being an amazing tank to being a scrub. He goes from being a very good tank to being a good tank, which I think is more than fine. So he's very, very tanky post-super. His revive is also really cool. It's kind of like that Int Majin Buu revive, or that Metal Cooler one, I should say, where it's like, okay, if he dies at any point, you are going to get the revive. The problem with that is that, like I said, he's actually kind of tanky. So getting him specifically to die, unless it's like a super from like a Formidable Foes event or something immediately, is actually more difficult than it seems, but it's still pretty good. The caveat to that, so the pro of that is the caveat, in that his revive doesn't cover the rest of the rotation. So once you get past him, if he survives and another unit gets knocked out, then you just don't get that revive, which is a little bit of a shame. All around, I think he's pretty good. His attack is okay. At 55%, you're looking at 13, 14 million. Very good chance at critting, and if you build him with additionals in mind, he looks pretty good. I don't really like the high chance to. I don't really like critting with this guy. I'm not a huge fan of making him crit. He has high chance to crit permanently, if I understand. So maybe I'm reading his passive wrong, but I was pretty certain he has his high chance to crit permanently, but I could be wrong. But for me, definitely additionals is a good way to go, and you can still give him crit. It's still going to help him. I wouldn't necessarily give him evasion. Like I said, even without the full conditions of his revive, he still feels plenty tanky to me, so I don't really have any massive concerns there about him. Overall, I'd have to say that Cell is a very good unit at 55%. Is he the best unit in the game at 55%? Most certainly not. Is he enough to revive the Android Cell saga? I don't know. His leader skill is probably the thing I like the least about him. If I had to take Cell as a unit and take his kit and replace the leader skill with something else, I would probably say he's one of my top 3 favorite units in the game. Worldwide Chaos is just not where it's meant to be. Like, all the Zamasu's that are on Worldwide Chaos, the Goku Blacks, they're just not usable to that level. So we're going to have to see what happens, what kind of buffs they bring along that way. So yeah, I think overall Cell is really, really good, and I do really like him a lot. Like I said, I like him. He's a good all-rounder. I don't think he does anything specifically wrong. I think his team maybe just needs a bit more than what it has. Like, if I was going to run Worldwide Chaos as a team, I would probably want a few more interesting units on it, because outside of the Cell and the Cell First Form is going to get an easy A, we don't have the craziest units here. Like, we got Buhan, we've got Tech Cell. It's not a bad team. I think it just needs a little bit more, because some of those units are quite conditional, especially in terms of link set. But overall, I like Cell a lot. I think if you like him, you should go for him. I wish it would get a little bit more. Maybe another Cell or an LR would be great or something. But I still think he's really good. I had a lot of fun using him, and I think a lot of people will still enjoy using Cell. So yeah, that's it from me.